Good morning, everyone. Welcome to BizChicks TV. This is the place to be for tips, tools, and strategies. Everything you need to take the hassle out of your hustle and to build a profitable business that's fun to run. We want to thank you so much for joining in today. And we're going to get this party started. We got a couple of things going on in different locations. So let us get going. All right. Every Friday we talk tech. So Terralina and TJ and Dr. Tachi will be in here shortly. I'm just going to start with my part of the program, which is this week in tech history. So all of the technology is based on something that has occurred. Everything that we live out today is based on something from yesterday. So that's what we're going to talk about. Um, we're going to talk about the first story, September 26, 1973. And the supersonic aircraft Concorde makes its first nonstop Atlantic crossing and sets a new speed record in the process, flying from Washington, D.C. to Paris, France in 3 hours, 32 minutes at an average speed of 954 miles per hour. The Concorde cut the old speed record in half. Do we still have that aircraft available? Because I'm
I
thinking
don't know if the Concorde is still in
operation.
use. Yeah.
But I would, it would be great because 3 hours to France from DC to Paris.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Okay, so how long would it take you to get across the country here? What, half hour, 30 minutes, hour?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Wow.
I would love to see that. So Mark says, no, the Concorde is no longer in operation. Thank you, Mark. Man, okay, I don't know. Some tech they should have kept. I'm just saying. My next little story here. Apple asks us to think different. September 28th, 1997, just a little over 2 weeks after naming Steve Jobs interim CEO, Apple launched their Think Different ad campaign designed to reintroduce the Apple brand. The campaign was nearly universally praised by the press, general public, and advertising industry, winning several awards along the way. Looking back in context, Think Different was the symbolic start of Apple's resurgence from near collapse in the 1990s into the most valuable company in the world. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. The campaign was anchored on the now famous prose, commonly called Crazy Ones, which was narrated by Richard Dreyfuss in a commercial most people are familiar with. It is commonly thought that Steve Jobs wrote Crazy Ones, but in fact, it was written by Rob Siltonen and Ken Siegel, who worked at Apple's advertising agency. Okay, this is a throwback. September 29th, 1983, Microsoft releases their first software application, Microsoft Word 1.0, for use with MS-DOS compatible systems. Word was the first word processing software to make extensive use of a computer mouse. Not coincidentally, Microsoft had released a computer mouse for IBM-compatible PCs earlier in the year. A demo version was also included for free with a copy of PC World magazine, making the first time a floppy disk was included with a magazine. Anybody remember Microsoft Word? Because it's used today, right now, quite a bit. And this is Microsoft Word, the major one. Okay. The next story, Ethernet is drafted. September 30th, 1980, Digital, Intel, and Xerox released a version 1.0 of the Ethernet specification, known as the Blue Book. Since that time, Ethernet has evolved into the de facto networking standard for local area networks, LAN, LAN, in businesses and in home. And that would be your internet, the cables that you plug in.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to see if I had one here.
Well, while you're doing that, Mark says no, the Concorde is no longer in operation,
Yeah.
and he says I'm always accused of thinking different, and no one ever bought stock in me. Sigh. I feel you, Mark.
Right. So, yeah. So the Ethernet cord is the one that they call it a Cat 5, Cat 6, but it's the one that plugs into your router and then also plugs in to your computer. Most of the computers now are working on Wi-Fi. So, but the strongest system or the strongest connection available is your router to an Ethernet cord via
Oh, okay.
Ethernet cord.
Is that why you refer to it as hardwired?
Yes.
Okay. And he says, Mark has a comment. He says, I'm just glad that we lived through the another AOL disc in the mailbox period.
Because AOL was mailing them discs out.
They were.
And it worked for a while, but then what is it called? Evolution, change happens. And you're not going to be able to do that. That's no longer a thing. The technology of that time changed, and so you're no longer handling that type of thing.
No longer relevant.
You're still relevant, but you're no longer handling. It's not that type of party anymore. Okay, the times have changed. You got to keep changing with the times. And my next story, speaking of changing with the times, I saw this. I read this in a story in Wired magazine about how schools want to ban phones in school for the kids. The kids bringing their phones and their digital devices to school. Well, there was some reason to say, well, maybe you should not ban them. And I'm going to just go through the story. It says, though personal policies around personal device use vary not only from district to district, but classroom to classroom, nearly every secondary school teacher that this author spoke with in the last year acknowledged a new normal of post-pandemic tech dependence, meaning that the students are dependent on that tech. And this is post-pandemic. As a result, this summer school districts from Virginia to Maine to California are enacting general cell phone bans, while Michigan and Pennsylvania state lawmakers have introduced statewide mandates to do the same. Bans already exist for children and young adolescents in France, and as of last year, China. Given what we now know about how phones and the social media they harbor can radicalize violence, harm mental health, and capsize attention spans, teaching our attention even when they are turned off, or leeching. The case for eliminating devices to create safe learning spaces can seem like a no-brainer. But if you're trying to prepare students for the messy, wider world, administrators need to put less energy into figuring out how to implement bans and more into helping teenagers learn how to foster balance and focus while surrounded by the siren call of their devices. During the dystopian months of the spring 2020 lockdown, the pandemic, one of his students streamed class on her phone, holding her, holding this person's co-teacher and them at a literal arm's length as she hid out in the quiet of her family minivan. So she's in the minivan and she's going to class on her phone. For her and so many students, the phone was the thing her learning depended on. And according to a 2021 Center for Democracy and Technology report, 86% of teachers reported that schools provided tablets, laptops, or Chromebooks to students at twice the rate prior to the pandemic, scrambling to democratize digital access when school went remote. So, the popular discourse holds that students are responsible for their tech addictions, and if not them, then their parents and teachers for failing to enforce better rules. But these are systemic problems, and they demand systemic solution. It's time to shift our collective gaze of accountability outward and not with a one-size-all-fits device ban. Hey, welcome to the metaverse. We are talking tech today. So somebody's over there. But these are systemic problems, and they need, it says, not with a one-size-fits-all device ban, but with a renewed investment in digital literacy, ethics, and well-being. So there's talking about having people, they need to become digitally literate. That's the better word. And so
I don't know how people got through the pandemic without making some kind of shift into the digital space for learning.
Because school went from home, school came home.
School came home, work came home.
Everything came home.
Recreation came home because we were confined to the house.
Correct.
So the whole thing of being able to communicate with your friends was all digital. I know my 8-year-old granddaughter played a lot of Roblox with her friends during the lockdown. And also that she would actually tune into story time on Sundays with her teacher. Her teacher would, they had some extracurricular assignments, books to read, and then they would discuss the books on Sunday morning.
Welcome to BizChicks TV. We're in the metaverse, by the way.
Hey, how you doing over there in the metaverse?
Yeah. Hey, metaverse.
Yes. And so I'm trying to get the screen up over there, but I'm over there, and I got to turn my mic on. That would help. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the BizChicks TV Tech Life Weekly. Hi there.
Isn't this exciting?
Yes, it is.
Now, how do we get over there?
All VR.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Jeremy, how are you doing? This is Tech Life Weekly. I'm actually online. I'm trying to get our screen up so you can see the rest of the
show.
The rest of the show, but that might have to be a different day. But welcome in, and we're talking tech today. And right now we're doing a little story and talking about tech.
And they can find us on YouTube if they.
Yes, we are definitely live on YouTube right now. So you're more than welcome to join us over there or right here in the metaverse. So thank you for coming in. So here's the thing: the teachers, you know, that we need to teach digital literacy because the kids, this is all they've grown up with, especially coming through the pandemic. Now they are.
It's just a new tool. Is it any different? And
right.
When they used to, I don't know, y'all are too young for this, but they used to roll the TV out into the middle of the hall and let us watch rocket launchers. And we'd sit cross-legged because we were in elementary school, but the TV was the screen. And it wasn't a very big TV, but it was the biggest they were making at the time. So it's just a different form of screen. I
Right.
don't see why this is a problem. And the fact that everybody has one, to me, makes it universal.
Right. And some of the teachers are finding it easier because they're not having to do a lot of things with paper, going to the copier and printing a lot of things. So the teachers can now, open your phone and go to this particular place and be able to get their lessons to the kids.
And the other thing is, having been a teacher, is that it allows you to use subject matter experts easier. You can research them, find them on different channels, because you are not a subject matter expert on everything.
No.
Also, different teachers have a way of getting ideas across in a way that students understand better in many cases. So you are able to find that subject matter expert who has that gift,
Mm-hmm.
put them up on a screen, and get the message across quickly to everyone. And then the kids can actually, on their device, go back and do a replay until they get it.
Right. So, according to a 2019 survey from Common Sense Media, a San Francisco based nonprofit focused on children, media, and technology, only 4 out of 10 teachers said they received useful professional development on digital citizenship policies, with high school teachers more likely to report that implementing cell phone policies was challenging in the classroom.
Absolutely.
Right. So when schools do not create a shared vocabulary around tech addiction and educational norms to refer to, teachers carry the burden of not only in inventing and enforcing tech standards, but trying to describe to students why they exist at all. So the teachers are like, I don't know why we got to do it.
Well, here's the thing with all that's going on in these classrooms in terms of safety. How do you, I don't know as a teacher if I could even support that policy, because if something happened, the students are unable to communicate with their parents, they're unable to
Correct.
communicate with outside, and that might be the one phone that we need to let people know we're safe, not safe, etc. I
Correct.
I just have a problem with it. Long as it's not distracting, I don't see why people are tripping.
Right. And I don't need it because this is the new normal for school, because school has come home. And now
Mhm.
when the kids go back to school, they need to bring home is coming to school.
Mhm. And Patricia Washington says, yes, it's like the Jetsons cartoon. Yeah,
Right.
we're
Um,
there.
okay. So students should enter the adult world understanding not only how their devices are addictive, but their own addictive tendencies. Mary Beth Hertz, the author of Digital and Media Literacy in the Age of the Internet, Practical Classroom Applications, incorporated a screen time tracking project into her freshman intro technology class. Boy, okay. Anyway, I'm not editing right now. In a TED talk that was Manoush Z's TED talk on creative possibilities of boredom. It's rare for schools to get a class like this, but if administrators provide professional supports for digital literacy and training on, okay, they need to stop using big words. Okay, models of meta mindfulness, these lessons and conversations might become more normalized throughout the curriculum. So basically, what they're saying is they need to teach the teachers how to be, because some of the teachers don't know how to be digitally literate either. And the kids already know what they're doing on the devices. And they will, I think they will get into the class side of things because they've already done it when they were at home during the pandemic. They already know, okay, I got to be at school from this time to this time, and they're engaged, but not just take all the phones away from everybody.
I don't even think that's possible. And I think that's that they need to flip the script on that goal. They need to find out how to integrate it into the curriculum. Just like, remember, I don't know if you guys, they started doing art across the curriculum. So then you could do art in the history class, art in the English class, art in gym class, art. So they can incorporate digital literacy across the curriculum. And I just don't see it. It's like trying to put the feathers back in a pillow.
Yes.
It's just impossible, people. It's
Right.
done. Get with the program.
Right. Jeremy, you have
I
any
don't know.
comment on that? Hang on a minute. Jeremy, you got a comment? You got a comment?
I don't know what's going on in school these days. I grew up on a farm, in a farm school in Louisiana, back when switching your students was still an option. And I've been so out of touch with the technology aspect of school these days. But what you're saying does sound like good. It does sound right. Like you can't take everybody's devices in school, but at the same time, how are you going to help kids not be distracted?
Right. So somebody got to come up with something.
Well, I think using the phone as a tool makes sense, because then you know where they are on the tool. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
As
Instead of
opposed,
taking it, teach them how to use the thing.
and use it to your advantage. And if the kid next to the other kid doesn't have a tool, they share, just like when we didn't have enough books. It's a website. It's not a test. You just need to be able to see it. Or I take it and I stream it to the screen on everybody's computer. And I know a lot of schools, like you said, during this challenging time, sent home computers. The 8-year-old had a computer, the 13-year-old, everybody suddenly had a school computer, laptop.
Right.
So they had to do something, because they couldn't use that method without making it, equitable for everybody. So I'm saying, just use the tool for good, people, and incorporate it in the curriculum. It's not rocket science. It's a blessing. And
Hey,
Well,
welcome to the, go ahead, TJ.
no, I was just gonna say, because kids, we was getting ready for school earlier this month, and it was like, okay, I don't have to go to Staples and buy paper and pencil and stuff because they use computers. And
and so now the cost for the parents and the teachers are not going out buying all of that extra stuff that they
Right.
were buying before, because everything is digital.
Right. And depending on your school system, the schools will give your kids is it Chromebooks? I think Chromebooks
yeah.
or devices, because that's what they did here when we had the pandemic and the kids were at home, and if they didn't have Wi-Fi, the library gives you a router.
Exactly.
You can get a router from the library for a week, and then they tell all the kids, if you don't have a device, come to school, we'll give you a device.
Mhm.
Right. And
so that's just because if you're in a school system that's lucky enough to have the funding for that. But I think that should be a thing. It shouldn't be this school system doesn't have it, the other one doesn't, because kids, there's inequality in education, which that should be coming from the government. That money should be coming from, it is coming from the government, but that money should be used for that.
Right.
Like you said, they don't have to buy paper and pencil and this and that all over. They have what do they have, a whiteboard? I think they have a whiteboard thing in the school, and the teacher writes on it, and they got all kinds
of digital tools.
Right. And that's where we should be.
Thank you. It's not going to turn back.
No.
And I'm just surprised that we're even having this conversation. If you're going to do digital literacy, what you should be teaching is how to handle the new things that are coming across, like digital gambling. It's everybody's phone. They can not only play video games, but they can gamble.
Right.
Or things that might be harmful that are coming across. Use it as a tool, just like we did to teach kids to stop smoking.
Right.
But you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Right. We can't do that. But it's unfortunate that there are places where, like you said, like here in New York, I see ads all the time for stop smoking. The city gives you free this, free that, free gum, free whatever. All you have to do is call 311. You can get anything. You call 311. I don't understand why people won't call 311 and get it, because it's free. You just go and get it. So a lot of we all need to have places and cities and communities where that's available, and it shouldn't be okay. And I think I saw something on the news about Narcan and how that they're using that for the people that are addicted, and they're having a Narcan around, and it was like controversial, like, oh, we shouldn't pay for that. Why? You just want people to die? I mean, they're not
right. And I know
the Narcan saves their life.
I personally know someone who saved a guy's life. He had OD'd out near her work, and the police and people were there, and she told them, go inside and get the Narcan, go get it. And they used the Narcan, and eventually he came back. But she had the presence of mind to tell them that, or else he'd have died at the scene.
Yeah, this whole thing of
no, they're not keeping Narcan at schools, Jeremy. This was a different situation where a lady I know, she works in a treatment facility.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so there was somebody that had overdosed on something. And
I just brought that up because I was like, things like that, it should be freely available to people that need it. Just like we were saying about schools. Schools should have the devices for kids. Don't be like, oh, well, what's wrong with paper and pencil? We don't do that anymore, people.
I think what they're talking about is the phones, that they're finding the phones to be a distraction. But if the phone is used as a tool, the kid is supposed to be on a specific place on the phone at the time, and it's no longer a distraction.
Correct.
It is a learning tool. And so they need to learn how to turn that instrument into a learning tool, as opposed to trying to fight it and get the kid to put it away.
There should be a period, like, because the school's divided in period, first period, whatever period have it, call it digital technology 101, or the things you need to know. And that's where they could teach how to watch out for bullying, how to do this, and it doesn't need to be a long thing. I don't understand why that's just
every time we need to learn something new, they set up a class. They had driver's ed when they so when they left the horse and buggy.
Remember home ec?
Yes,
that was the thing.
And
typewriting. I remember typewriting classes.
Yes,
right. So as things progress, bring it into the classroom. You know what I mean?
And have the rules posted on the wall. As to how it's to be used.
Right. But then again, we get into the discussion about there's not enough teachers and enough pay, and how are they going to do this and who's going to do it. So we get into this whole morass thing of, okay, well, who's going to pay for it and who's going to teach it? I don't know.
Somebody will. Somebody is.
You can, you see, because I'm part of the look, you can have a master teacher come around, or you can have an orientation. I mean,
I agree. But there's the people that will say, well,
how long does it take to say you can only use your cell phone when the teacher says you can use it?
This is not I don't think it's a bad thing. I think let them alone, because we got the device in our hand 24/7. I took off yesterday to go somewhere, and I was in the car, and so I pushed the button to make a phone call. I said, call so-and-so. There is no phone connected. I was like, wait, where is my phone? I had to turn around and go back and get my phone.
We're in a different world. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. It's a different world. We got social media. We got the metaverse. We're gonna have something new, but it's always going to be a communication tool. Social media is a communication tool. People look at people doing different things with it, but it's mainly a communication tool. Right. For us to talk. We had smoke signals. We had you had whatever up to the radio, TV, and now social media, and whatever's next, metaverse and beyond. So you got to get used to the changes. I think that's what it is. It's like it's a change, and older generation don't understand it, but don't understand. You don't have to really. They try to wrap their brain around how it works. I'm like, don't do that.
And
Just
each
use it.
generation has its challenge.
Right.
The transistor radio.
Yeah.
then the Walkman.
Oh, it's a bug.
Then the cassette tapes, the 8 tracks, whatever people get, whatever your challenge is.
Oh my goodness, the cassette.
Put this
tape.
on the same list and get over it.
Yeah,
right. Well, that is my story. Stories. That's your week in tech history, and so Terry, you're up with. Okay, I know Terry's gonna bring some new stories.
Okay, I want to talk to you today about. But should I start? I think I'm going to start with this story about this robot. And we've been watching these robots do some fabulous things. And the University of Oregon has something new. So let me see if I can share my screen and find this. This screen. Yes. So let's see. Okie dokie. I think I'm in there. Is it sharing the screen yet?
You haven't shared with us yet.
Okay, let me go here.
I'm still trying to figure
Press
out
the button. Now you can see, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
wow.
All right.
For those,
so I'm going to.
We're looking at.
We're looking at the University of Oregon and their new technology developed for a robot. So I'm going to start this. I'm going to turn on the sound. Come in here, mute myself.
Okay, Cassie holds the record for the fastest 100 meters. And she ran the dash in just under 25 seconds. This is a robot. Compare that to the Olympian Usain Bolt, who runs the 100-meter dash in less than 10 seconds. The robot has joints that bend like an ostrich knee and operates without cameras. Okay. Okay, so Terry, okay, so this robot is doing a little more than the one that Elon Musk had.
Yes.
Okay, the one that Elon Musk had could not run you down.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if I want
this one does not have sensors all around it and a lot of different things that were required by some of the other robots. And I think we need to talk about some practical applications. Dr. Tachi says, okay, I got it. I'll take care of that.
I got it too.
Okay, did you do it, Fran? Did you take care of that? Okay. We have these things at our disposal, and I'm thinking there would be some military applications. There'd be some supply chain applications, getting something from one side of a warehouse to the other in 25 seconds without a conveyor belt, without a medical supplies, because I'm looking at all that's going on in Florida. Right. It doesn't have to worry about, what's in the water. Mm-hmm. So I just thought this was fascinating, and I love the fact that it was put together by students. Now, I don't know if anybody has any comments on that, because I know time is of the essence, and I can share my next story unless you guys have something you want to say. It looks like an ostrich, its legs sort of bend like an ostrich. Mm-hmm. And I think that might have been the inspiration for the design. Mm-hmm. But right. I love the fact that they keep working on these things. Go ahead, Fran.
I'm just saying, I don't want a robot that can run faster than I can.
Well, see, the thing, I just realized it reminds me, if you've seen this movie called Interstellar, it's like one of my favorite movies. And they have, because they're building a rock, they're going to Mars or something because of Earth, and it's a whole thing. But when they're going on the spaceship, they've got like these robot devices, and they're like, they walk like this, and
Mm.
they go in the water and do things where, you know, okay, the human person doesn't have to do it, like the astronaut doesn't have to do it. So, and it's just, it looks like this, and it's like metal, and it's like two little legs, and it's got all kind of little gadgets on it where it can flip over, and so, and of course they had a voice for it in the movie. So I was like, this kind of reminds me of that. Like, it's going towards that, where it was just like, okay, this thing fit on the rock on the ship, and it just come off when they needed it. And it was AI, but it was more like, because because the person is voice actors doing it, so it was like a person. Yes, like a metal thing that walked like that. So just like, it reminds me, the robot reminds me.
You could communicate with it.
Yeah, and it had its own thinking, whatever. But
processes for
it was like
out
it was, they would talk to it like a person, but it was the robot, and
it was artificial intelligence.
It was like a square, and it had legs that, and when it was like that, it was like that, but when it would move with the legs and stuff,
and it had a screen so it
flip,
could see.
and it had a little screen on it, and so that kind of reminds me from that movie.
Well, I just love the fact that it's getting faster and faster. Because remember, they were pretty awkward when we started showing a few of them several years ago. They were excited that it took a couple of steps, or that it picked up something, or and it turned around. Now it's what, the 100-yard dash in 25 seconds.
I still remember iRobot, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, we got the way it could go either way. Like, it could be good or bad. I mean, it's just one of those things. So
okay, so my next story I want to share with you real quick is called Hyphy Foods. Hyphy Foods is a company that was developed by two young women, Michelle Ruiz and Andrea Shuquin, co-founders of Hyphy Foods. It's a food process that has developed flour from mushrooms and allows you to skip through all of that carb situation. Right. So let me read this. This is found in, where did I find this? This is over in,
what's the name of the brand again? What food?
Hyphy. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
Let's see. Here, let's see. Hyphy Foods.
Oh, okay. HYF. Yeah. Okay.
FE.
Yeah.
It says live well and do good. And so here's a description. Hyphy Foods is creating a new staple crop, fungi. And I think this is a problem for us, because a lot of us are like, fungi, what is that? Operating at the intersection of climate and health, we make protein-rich, low-carb flour products from the roots of mushrooms. Their fermentation process upcycles waste sugar water from food manufacturers, helping them to save money and water while diverting the input in the landfill. Hyphy enables regional production of low-cost alternative protein that is shielded from supply chain disruptions and resilient to climate change. Now, this is important, guys, because here's the deal. Almost a third of our wheat comes from the Ukraine area. Now, the fact that there's a war going on has seriously compromised the production of wheat and the access to wheat. And so the fact that you have this alternative available, it is going to be huge. And also the fact that because it doesn't use wheat, the reason why they did it in the first place was because Michelle's mom was diagnosed with prediabetes in 2020. And so Michelle is a Chicago-based chemical engineer. So she set out to improve not just her own family's health, but everyone's. And that's how she decided to go into this, what would you call it, venture, to find out if she could, in fact, come up with a better form of flour. And as a result, I'm going to give you the bottom line on this, and that is that such alternatives can have nutritional benefits over wheat and would be of huge interest even to the pasta industry. There's a whole group of cereals called millets, small seeded grasses similar to oats and barley that are more hardy, use less water, and are gluten free. So the things that she's developed are gluten free. They're going to help people who are diabetic avoid a lot of carbs and yet be able to enjoy the different foods that they're used to. So instead of trying to grow more wheat, it's suggested that we look to other cereals, and one of them might be this new product that they've come up with. So I'm I thought this was an interesting article because there is so much going on with um, the food supply
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that you brought that up because
globally.
I think I was reading before about how they're going to make, they're going to use crickets as
Yes.
flour. And in
Hmm.
Canada, they're like the biggest cricket farms. Like they can make so many, grow so many crickets and stuff. And then it's because of this. Like it's the protein in the bug, the protein in the
Yes.
mushroom and stuff is going to help alleviate a lot of health problems. But it's going to be like, okay, do you tell people that you made this cookie or you made this bread or you made this thing with cricket flour?
I I don't know. There's also this lady who's doing cauliflower flour.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm thinking maybe we should try it and see.
I
How
would
does it really
definitely
work?
try it. I have no, there's no hesitation from me. I mean, as long as
Mhm.
it tastes like it's food. I mean, but
And it's
you're
got to
right.
be healthier after all.
Right,
It's
healthier, and then
vegetables.
there's the supply chain stuff and food insecurity and feeding
Mhm.
people who especially in other countries where people are dying of starvation. Like, okay, here's this thing made from cricket flour. Okay,
Exactly. Cauliflower flour and
cauliflower,
now mushroom
mushroom.
flour.
Hmm. Those are
So
gonna
there
be
you
things.
are. So
So
I
this is
just
an idea, because we always talk about technology and ideas here. If you're looking to get into something that's emerging industries and stuff like this is one. This is one.
now the fact that it takes a lot of sugar water to produce this. I thought it was genius that they were able to partner with the food industry who was had a lot of sugar water runoff that they
Right.
were not utilizing. So it's sort of like enables everything to go full circle.
Right.
So there you go.
So you could, if you wanted to grow mushrooms or hydroponics or a lot of greens. I think I saw something on CBS News when they were showing this building where they made the greens and they were in like a conveyor belt that went up, like it rotated
Uh-huh.
with the water and the sunlight, and that's how they grew greens, not in the ground. Like,
Uh-huh.
lettuce and different things like that. So
Mhm.
now right,
Farming.
right. And now we're
Mhm.
getting into where you could do crickets, you could do bugs, you could do insect farming as a thing if you're into that, because you could sell that to the manufacturers who are going to make that flour, because
Mhm.
everything is milled. Flour is milled from wheat.
Yes.
It has to be milled. So
So
those are
this Hyphy Foods is using this as a to produce a wheat flour alternative.
things.
And those are my stories for today.
And also, here's another a selling point if you're interested in this kind of thing. The government has programs where they will pay for you to develop things like this.
Oh.
You have to do
Mhm.
your investigation.
Wow. So I'm just like, wow, this is
Did you see Touch said she didn't get the link?
okay. Let me see.
Sent it to her.
Tell her I'm going to send it on Facebook.
I sent it to Messenger.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
We'll send
I
it
just love little
again.
stories like that. And
Uh-huh.
that's a part of tech. That is
Yeah.
that is a part of tech. So
Hey, it's Tachi. It's not in Messenger.
Okay.
saying it's not a message.
Okay, from me. It's from me, Dr. Tachi.
Until I just sent it also.
It's not there.
I just sent it also.
You sure you're sending it to Facebook?
Yeah,
I'm
send it
sending it
to
to Facebook
Facebook.
Messenger.
Right.
Look for something from Terralina also.
Go ahead, Doc.
Sometimes what happens is, did you mistakenly send it to Instagram?
Nope.
I don't
In which case,
No.
know. I will go back and take a look because I know I
Okay.
put Messenger in there. I don't know if I saw the Instagram logo.
Well, yeah, now they have it where you can send it to both, but what happens is I can't open it if it's from there. So, but never mind, it's all right.
Do you see it?
I'm looking in here again because I don't know.
Because I see it. I see where I sent it just now, Dr. Tachi. So try again. And if not, can we send it by?
I got it from you, but I didn't get it from Francine.
Okay.
Because mine probably went to Instagram.
Okay.
And that's something we should know because
Yeah, I didn't know that.
this is Tech Life Weekly. So
Yeah, that's one of the things that's coming up in the updates I have about
good.
Facebook
Because
and Instagram. And I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I think I said this a long time ago that they were going to integrate this stuff.
yes,
So
you did.
you see
did.
it. You
Okay,
see
so
it.
Tachi,
You didn't tell me it was going to be painful, though.
Well, it's it's meta, so they're not gonna make it painless.
Oh my God.
And it is
so
a pain when you see a message, especially I will bring this up if I'm in because I use Meta Business Suite, the apps on my phone, and if I tap something, it'll say, "Oh, you have a message," and if it's from Instagram, it says you have to go to Instagram to read it. I hate that.
Yeah, Dr. Tachi, it went to your Instagram.
Okay.
So Meta, work on your issues.
Because I'm like, okay, it says Dr. Tachi right here.
Issue.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're ready for TJ.
Okay.
Let's get you
All
in
right.
position, TJ.
Well, I will get started. Hey, everybody, this is this week in social media news updates. Let's start with Google. YouTube Shorts is copying TikTok once again. So now your YouTube Shorts is adding the voiceover narration to Shorts on the iOS platform only. Android will come later. So what this voiceover narration, it lets you add your own commentary on top of existing videos. And it's something from TikTok. So they're all borrowing from TikTok. So here's another thing that they're doing. So look for that in YouTube Shorts on the mobile app. Also, Google. Now we talked about Google search. Google search, the alphabet and the Google part of search, they know they've got problems with users using their search, because we talked about TikTok, people starting to search for things on TikTok and Google. So they know that. So now they're adding when you do a query on Google, you'll see Reddit and Quora, Quora, in the results, in the pages that you get back. Now, just for a second, I'll just stop and say that what you'll see in Google results, you'll see YouTube videos, you'll see podcasts. I've seen it, podcast episodes, Twitter, tweets from Twitter, different things, depending on what you ask for and what Google thinks it wants to give you. So now they're adding in that Reddit forums and Quora forums. So whatever you've written in Reddit or Quora will show up right in the search results, and they're calling it a feature called discussions and forums. It will incorporate search results from discussion forums, including Reddit, Quora, and admins.com. I've never used that one. So this is in response to searches that might benefit from diverse personal experiences. This is their direct quote. Forums can be a useful place to find firsthand advice and to learn from people who have experience with something you're interested in. We've heard from you that you want to see more of this content in search, so we've been exploring new ways to make it easier to find. Discussions and forums will help bring you even more viewpoints, so you can have additional context and choices when you search. So this is available for English users on mobile platforms in the US to start. right? So it's a start. So this is they're saying, for example, like when you search for the best laptops, if you say the best laptops or the best car for a family or the best this and that, you don't really get answers to your questions from blog posts like that, unless it's one of those, the top 10 whatever. So they're saying they're bringing in discussions from these two places in order to answer those queries, because they're seeing people do that. So Google is trying to flesh out their search experience for you. All right. Let's see. Twitter. Let's talk about Twitter. Twitter is adding a new TikTok-like full screen video feature. Again, here, whatever TikTok is doing, the other ones are following. So they're adding a scrollable TikTok-like video feed. So this will be on iOS. So users on iOS will be able to click on a video in their feed to enter the new scrollable video feed. Once you finish watching the video you clicked on, you'll be able to scroll up to start browsing more video content. So then you'll be in a scrollable feed of videos, which is similar to the browsing experience on TikTok. If you want to exit the video view and go back to the original tweet, you can click the back arrow in the top left corner, they're saying. So once you get into a tweet as a video, it's going to put you into a scrollable feed of other videos from other tweets. And if you want to get back to the tweets, you have to hit the back arrow. So more scrollable video from Twitter. All right. And also, Twitter is launching a new video carousel within the Explore tab. Users will see a new Videos for You category that will display popular and trending videos that Twitter thinks you might be interested in. So they started this TikTok-like video feed as a test back in December 2021. And then so they're trying to turn their Explore page into a video feed, like the For You page in TikTok. So that's what's going on with Twitter. Now, let's talk about TikTok. TikTok has one thing from them. They are announcing an increase to the video descriptions. That's where you write your caption in your video. The limit was 300 characters. Now they're going up to 2,200 character limit, a 730% increase in the space available to, talk about your video. TikTok says this allows you to express more details about your creations, describing what your videos show, giving you the opportunity to get closer to your audience, generating more engagement while becoming more searchable and better recommended by TikTok to viewers. Again, here's the search feature that I mentioned earlier, that a lot of people are searching for things on TikTok. So now they're increasing the caption area. So it's going to be more like a writing a blog post instead of just a little bit that you get to write with your video. Okay. Let's see. Let me see. Which one should we do next? I want to make sure I got everything. One from Snapchat. This is a little like, isn't that interesting? So Snapchat is announcing a new content deal with La Liga, LALIGA, because they're trying to get older users on the platform. So La Liga is a European football league. So Snap is going to host exclusive content, weekly highlights, historic archives, top goals, and more. So they're leaning into sports coverage by having it with this the European Football League instead of like the NFL or anything else. So Snap says Snapchatters will be able to enjoy the best moments of the game through a dedicated Discover show called La Liga Show Time, as well as stories and spotlights, content posted by La Liga Snap Star account. So this is going to include also lenses, stickers, Bitmoji editions, and more. So they're trying to bring in the sports viewers, especially, and they're going European way instead of going the US sports way. All right, let's see. Instagram. Let me go back up to Instagram. Now, Instagram has announced that videos under 60 seconds and stories will no longer be split into segments. So they're, instead of the stories that are, they used to cut it off at 60 seconds and then we're going in another 60 seconds. So they're not going to do that. They're not, I mean, not 60 seconds. If it's under 60 seconds, they split it into 15-second segments in the app. So now they're saying they're not going to do that. They're going to let you know that you can, all of them will just merge into one. So here they are, Instagram with the video of, okay, all the video goes in the Reels tab and we're not segmenting it into sections. We're just going to let it all flow. So they're saying you'll have an update. You get a notification letting you know that your videos and stories will no longer be cut, making a seamless viewing experience. Okay. Also for Instagram, they're rolling out the notes feature. I was trying to look at this today. I'm going to take a look, but it's you're able to send a note with a 60-character limit in the DM section. So the notes created by users will be visible to the followers in the DM section, and just like Instagram stories, notes vanish after 24 hours. The responses that followers send will appear as DMs to the users. So they're saying that this is supposed to be like a less obstructive or obtrusive way of pushing out information. At the moment, users can only post one note at a time, and if they do so before the previous note's 24 hours have passed, the existing note will automatically be deleted. Okay, so this is something notes in and let me see real quick because I wanted to look at this. I just put this one in just now. So you're supposed to be able to do it in the DM section. So let me see. Just take a quick look. Okay, I don't see it. All right, I don't have it. So they're saying that you're supposed to be able to send a note that vanishes like a story. And I guess it's just between you and that, one person that you're DMing. But I don't see anything that says notes here. So I guess maybe I have to update. So if you see it, let me know. See what you think about it. But here's another little feature in Instagram. They keep rolling out these little features. All right, on. Go ahead.
Okay, because sometime you might want to go back and look at the note again, but if it disappears, then what is the point? That's a Snapchat feature.
Right, but if you're already in the DMs, why does it have to disappear?
That's my okay. I thought it was just me, but I was like,
no, it's not just you. That's what I was trying to figure out. Well, what do I do with that?
Because it's
only
not
post one note at a time, so it's like a Snapchat story in the DM and it disappears. So I guess so maybe if you were talking about a coupon that only lasts for a day or something, 24 hours, and after that it goes.
Well, maybe I'm if it's a DM, it's a direct message to me.
Right.
Do I want to put ads in that? And I don't know. I'm not quite understanding that concept.
I guess if you want to send like a VIP coupon,
or if you had something to say and you didn't want it traced back to you, okay.
I could see something like a discount code or something that expires. Like you wouldn't want them to use that all the time. Like, okay, this is only good for 24 hours. And then, if you want it, then you have to DM me to get the coupon code. I don't know. Instagram is in its own little world.
And we're not quite sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. That's the only thing I could see it being used for. That if you talk about it in live or stories and say DM me for the code you get 15% off, DM me for the code, and then you send them the note. Because if you don't, it will stay in their DMs. It will stay there if you send them the code. So it might be something you only want them to use within a 24 hour. Right. And then you can cut it off before the 24 hours, because if you send another one, it deletes the first one.
Okay.
I don't know. Instagram has a plan. They're not letting us in on it. All right, so let's move on to Facebook and Meta. Meta has the NFT display tools now is extended to all US Instagram and Facebook users. So that means you can now share NFTs between the apps. And this is what I was saying earlier, like a lot of things are going back and forth between Facebook and Instagram. So Meta has announced that all US users on Facebook and most people on Instagram can now post their digital collectibles to each app with the specialized post format that provides more detail on each NFT piece. So you can share your digital collection. Here's the quote from Meta. Today we're announcing everyone on Facebook and Instagram in the US can now connect their wallets and share their digital collectibles. This includes the ability for people to cross-post digital collectibles that they own across both Facebook and Instagram. Also, everyone in the 100 countries where digital collectibles are available on Instagram can now access the feature. So if you got a wallet, NFTs, and you want to show off your collection, well, there you have the ability to cross-post between the two platforms. There you go. Also, speaking of this cross-platforming, Meta is making it easier to switch between your accounts and profiles on Facebook and Instagram. So there's going to be new features that make it easy to access, create, and navigate between multiple accounts and profiles on Facebook and Instagram. You'll be able to easily switch between Facebook and Instagram. It's a profile switching interface. Now, I've seen something on my Facebook where the pages are turned into profiles or something. I think we talked about this before. And then there's a little button at the top, the little arrow, and you click and you could switch between the profiles on Facebook. On Facebook. But I haven't seen that between Facebook and Instagram. So that's what they're saying now. They're going to have a new profile switching interface so you can switch between and see notifications and navigate between Facebook and Instagram. People will be able to easily switch if they've added them to the same account center. So there's something called an account center. Additionally, people can now see their Facebook and Instagram profiles in one place. Notifications will be conveniently displayed for each profile, making it easier to stay up to date on activity across both Facebook and Instagram. So they're testing this experience globally on iOS, Android, and web. So we'll see how good that works or if it doesn't work. So there's that connection where it's like, okay, they're blending the line between, Facebook and Instagram. And the last thing I have, so also Meta has a new AI tool that enables users to make AI generated art. So if you're familiar with the DALL-E, it's DALL.E and a Midjourney, they're text-based where you type in words or keywords and the AI will make art or images or graphics based on what you said. And some of it is really like crazy looking. Actually, I have let me bring it up so you guys can see. I think I have the page. Yes, there it is. Let me bring it up. And then
that sounds interesting.
We'll describe it for Clubhouse. Let me bring that up. Yeah, so it's AI that allows you put in text and let me see. Is that up? I got so many tabs. Okay, there we go. So see how it says it's called make a video. And you use text to video generation. The system uses images with descriptions to learn what the world looks like and how it's often described. With this data, make a video mess you bring your imagination to life by generating whimsical, one-of-a-kind videos with just a few words or lines of text. So what we're seeing, there's a video of a dog with a cape and he's flying in the air. So the text is a dog wearing a superhero outfit with red cape flying through the sky. That's one of them. And then let me scroll down so you can see they have a teddy bear painting a portrait, and there's the AI image came up from the text. There's another want to go back?
No. So what you're saying is we can talk it and it'll make the picture.
Yeah, you just type it in. Robot dancing in Times Square, and there's the image. that comes from it. Another one, cat watching TV with a remote in hand.
And this is an app.
This is going to be, I'm not sure how they're going to put it in right now. It's in beta. I'm not sure if it's going to be integrated into Facebook and Instagram, probably because TikTok has a text to AI feature.
Oh, I thought it was something original.
And here's another one. This is kind of weird. A fluffy baby sloth with an orange knitted hat trying to figure out a laptop close. So it's what you type in. These are the words you type in, and then the AI gives it back to you. So
was it supposed to look nice?
Some of them look weird. No. Here's this one, clownfish swimming through the coral reef, and then it comes up with that. So some of them will look realistic and some will not.
So what is the name of this?
This is make a video. It's something that is in beta. It's not available yet.
Okay.
But it's just one of the things where this is like one of the things that's happening with tech now. So it's called Make a Video, a new AI system that lets people turn text prompts into high quality video clips. And then I believe the one in TikTok, it lets you it makes images. Also, there's another one that I used. What is that app called? I can't remember. But there's another. I think it's Light Leap. It might be Light Leap. That's the one that I have. That I use, and you go in and you just type, whatever words, and then it makes the graphic, and some of it is like really trippy looking and weird. So I'm not sure if it's Light Leap or something else. I got so many apps, and I don't even use them. It's either Light Leap or something Leap, and I know TikTok had it. I was looking for it, but I didn't have it yet. So it all comes from the DALL-E. Let me bring that up. So you can see. It's DALLE.
And while she's bringing that up, if you do have a avatar or whatever in AltSpace VR, I put a link over there so you can join in the metaverse. Like I said, we was going to kick around and play around with it. I still got to find out why my video is not coming through.
Okay, so this is the DALL-E.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And you have to sign up for the beta, or you have to sign up to get into it. And I think I signed up for it. Is it DALL-E or DALL-E 2? It might be DALL-E 2. I mean, that's it. So you have to sign up. So it's a new AI system that could create realistic images and art from a description in natural language. And when you go to the sign up button, I believe it said something about being in beta or something.
Oh, this is pretty cool because this now helps a person.
Oh, no, it's doing something different. Let me go back. Yeah, go ahead.
Good. Well, because you can now you type a description and it shows a picture.
Right.
So person.
Right. So here's one. Look at this. It says an astronaut, but it's astronaut on a horse, riding a horse in a photorealistic style. And then you can see when you type in different words, what images you get. Now, some of them are going to be like really crazy, and some of them are like, okay. So here's teddy bears.
Right, because people are going to use it depending on their powers, if they're going to, depending on their thought processes.
Right. And this is all AI. This is, the computer, the code doing this. So there have been people have, said that, oh, this is going to, get rid of graphic artists and that it's not going to. Did the internet get rid of books? We still read books.
Exactly.
And they're not going to make it exactly because the person has to be able to describe it. You know what I mean? Because when you're doing art, you don't necessarily can describe what it is that you're doing.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I don't think there's been, I've read arguments about, oh, this is going to get rid of, this is going to mess up the artwork. This is going to mess up graphics. This is going to mess up. No, it's not going to do that. It's going to be in addition to. People are still going to create art with their hands or however you're doing it now.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the DALL-E, DALL.E 2, because two is like the next level of it, and it's AI. So
this is nice.
Yeah, because it makes it easier for us who don't know how to draw anything except a stick figure, be able to draw something that you see in your eye. You can see something and you can describe it, and now something produces it.
Yeah, it's just something fun to play with. This is where tech is going. It's never going to get rid of real artists. You're going to make art. This might be inspiring, or artists might make something with AI with this tool and then take that and build upon it and make something else original. But there's been arguments I hear about, oh, this getting rid of, this kills artists, this kills creativity, this kills, and it's not.
So let me ask you this. Once you create this, can you download it to a folder and use it?
Yes, you can download it, and there's been also discussion about who owns it. I believe that you own it.
Makes sense.
But I have to double check that. These are just some of the things that have come up, like who owns it. What do you do with it? So it's images that you download and save and put it on your blog post, put it on your social media, print it, t-shirt, whatever you want to do with it.
Yes.
Right. So just something to watch out for. So Facebook Meta is getting into it with their make a video. They're doing a video part of it, and it's going to probably be integrated into the app somewhere. There's a beta for it.
Okay.
So Facebook didn't come up with
fun. I like this.
Right, but Facebook didn't come up with their own. I thought it was something they developed in their own lab.
No. This has been different places. What was the other one? So with DALL-E, Midjourney is one. There's a couple other. Like I said, I downloaded an app. I could not remember the name of it. That I was playing with it. And you just type in stuff, and it would just give all kind of like a mix mash of things based on what you put in. The words, the text.
All right. I like it.
Francine, did you say you thought that this was something that Facebook came up with on their own?
I thought I just thought I had hope for a second, a glimmer.
Okay. I'm gonna let you hold on to hope.
But they didn't. So I'm like, oh, they came up with something on their own.
No.
And no.
No. They're just trying to integrate it into their apps, into their little world.
They're trying to keep us there, like the California hotel. They're not letting us leave.
Okay, and that's the this week in social media updates and news. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Well done, TJ. I enjoyed it, especially that last little part about those little animated art. I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Tachi is up. Carrie, you pushing buttons?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
she's not going anywhere.
Only one person can push the button at a time.
You know what I mean?
Carrie push buttons. I'll monitor the metaverse.
You got a lot going on the Ultraverse, okay?
Metaverse I got to figure out why my video ain't showing up.
Okay. Good morning,
there.
Dr. Tachi.
Good morning. Okay, so this is a true experiment. Are you all hearing an echo? A little bit?
No.
Okay, this is very interesting because
you hear an echo?
No, not really. Because I've been having an echo issue with StreamYard the past 2 weeks, and so I said, well, this would be interesting to see if it's here, and I'm not hearing it.
Yeah, I don't hear it.
Okay, yeah, MC Curtis, you pushed a button, I bet. Anyway, so blame Curtis when all else fails.
MC Curtis.
Exactly. Well, happy Friday to all of you. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yeah. Well, kind of see me. So there are a couple of things that I wanted to talk about some we talked about on Wednesday, some we did not. So this is new. Okay, I'm hearing the echo. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, so
We don't hear it.
interesting. Okay, I hear it. Interesting. All right, as long as you don't hear it and it doesn't mess up your stream,
Nope.
that's good.
No,
I
we
Okay,
don't hear it.
I have a question. Are you using a mobile device or anything that I know you know
An
my
iPad.
your mic. Because
I have a question. Are you in Florida?
yes,
Oh yeah, yeah.
You might be having some weather issues.
no, because she said this was a couple of weeks.
this
Okay.
yeah.
With the mics
It's been a couple of weeks and it's clear today. It's
Oh, okay.
nice and sunny.
okay. Because I do know that I watched a StreamYard program, and the lady was having issues when she was doing her programming, and she had a couple of different cameras or whatever, and she had to put you know how in your phone you put in the your listening, your headphones, your
Right.
Yeah.
whatever, you put those in and cut off the cord so that it doesn't.
Oh, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
You have
I've
to
heard
cut,
that trick. Yeah.
right, too, so it cuts that whole feedback issue out, because even like on the iPhone, it will still, even though you turn it all the way down, you can still hear it. So you just put some old old headphones in and then cut it off.
And you could cut the cord. Yeah, that's not the issue because I never have anything else going. It's just one of those things. So I'm going to actually contact and see what the issue possibly could be because we tried everything. They probably did because we tried everything. When I say everything, everything technically humanly possible.
Cool.
So as long as we're not hearing it here. But good, yes, I am in Florida. Everything is good on this side of Florida, so we're fine.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah. So a couple of things. This is actually new that came up. In case you didn't hear, Trevor Noah is leaving the Daily Show after 7 years.
Wow.
Now he took over for he took over for Jon Stewart in 2015, and it's interesting because the year that Trevor Noah took over for Jon Stewart was the year I started Mediascope. So our journeys have kind of mirrored in a sense
Wow.
that way. So he told the audience just yesterday, my time is up. He debuted September 28th, 2015. So yeah, this is actually just 7 years that he's been the host. And he said this, I realized after the 7 years, my time is up, but in the most beautiful way. I've loved hosting this show. It's been one of my greatest challenges. It's been one of my greatest joys. I've loved trying to figure out how to make people laugh, even when the stories are particularly not great on the worst days. So he is actually the youngest of the late night hosts because he's only 38 years old, which means he started when he was like barely 30. So, well, 31 actually. So, it's interesting because he explained that he's going to return to stand up.
Oh.
And yeah, and he's a really good stand-up comedian. I don't know if you've ever watched any of his specials, but he's really good. Very funny.
He's good. I saw he had one. I don't remember the name of it. He told a joke about a snake. It was good. It was good.
exactly.
I don't remember where I saw it. But
yeah,
he's good.
Amazing. He's really good. The Daily Show did a good job by selecting Trevor Noah. And so he didn't specify a timeline for how soon he was going to leave, and he made it clear that it's not going to happen immediately. Details are still being ironed out. And he said this, I'm not disappearing. Don't worry. If I owe you money, I'll still pay you. So that's interesting. And so this is very interesting. And in addition to, yeah, I just absolutely adore Trevor Noah. In addition to really adoring him, thinking he's hugely funny and a great thing for the Daily Show, this is actually coming during a time of significant change during the late night landscape. So if you don't remember, earlier this year, James Corden announced that he was going to be stepping down as the host of the Late Late Show in 2023. Showtime remember Jesus and Mero? That ended. They kind of had a falling out, so
Mm.
that ended. And then TBS's Full Frontal with Samantha Bee also recently ended her run. So anyway, the same could be said that for Comedy Central, it's different because it's far from the comedy hub it was when Noah's joined. So it's interesting to see what's happening in comedy in general. So in any case, that's what's up. Trevor Noah is leaving the Daily Show. No word yet as exactly when. But so my thing is, what does that mean for the Daily Show? Does that mean they're going to look
They
for
get a
another
new
host,
host. They get a
or
new
are they
host.
just going to say, yeah? I mean that seems like the thing, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, and I don't know how you all feel. It's you've been through two hosts and it's not the norm to keep changing hosts in these shows, right?
Mm.
Uh, do you keep going or do you end it while it's on a high?
Mm. But what do you replace it with?
Well, that's a good question. That's a good question. But it also begs the question, do we just keep things going forever because it seems to be well, or do we actually try to infuse new things in here? Do
Mm-hmm.
we actually try and now take the funding that we're spending on the Daily Show and try something new? Probably not, because networks and the industry are risk adverse. They don't like to try new things. They don't like to try new people that are it. But to me, it's hurting them because this is why people look to other things, even TikTok and YouTube for content, because you all are just repurposing and repackaging the same thing. And it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that nothing good is coming out of there. There's some great stuff that's coming out of there, but then there's also the same, oh, okay, this again, we've seen this like 15 times. So I'll wait to see what they do with the Daily Show, whether or not they do anything or they say we're going in another direction. So,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
I wish Trevor Noah all the luck in the world with everything. So, and that opens up because it's a daily show. He's done it for 7 years. It's one thing when it's a weekly show, but when it's
Mm-hmm.
daily, you're there. You're at work every day. He was at work every day during the pandemic. From home. It's just there's a lot there, and maybe the pandemic gave him pause to say, "All right, what's next? Maybe I could do something where I don't have to work every day." So kudos to
One
you, Trevor.
can I say one thing about Trevor Noah, and I agree with you. I love him too. I saw his when he went back to see his was it his grandmother?
Yeah, his grandmother
It's
who
in
just passed
Africa,
away.
yes. Yeah, she passed away, but he had gone back and filmed her and going in her house. He got Gaga. He has a name for her, and he
I
would
think
go.
it was Google.
Google, yeah, something, yeah, it was something like that. And he brought the film crew in, and Google was like, "Oh, I'm coming in." And it was her house, like she was just real. And he just sat at the table with her, and she just talked and everything. It was really good. It was really good.
I
So
remember that so much. I
yeah,
mean, you felt like you knew her to the point
hmm
when it came out that his grandmother passed away, and this was like
right,
2 months ago. I
right.
watched the services from South Africa.
Oh, really?
I did. It was on YouTube.
Wow.
Wow. But that
Yeah.
when he went to see his grandmother, because he had the book Born a Crime, because it
Yes.
was a crime for him to be alive in South Africa at that time. And
Mm-hmm.
he talked it. I didn't read the book. I want to read the book, but when he did the he went to his grandmother's house, and he was saying about all the things he had to hide and all this other stuff. So this is
It,
really real
it is,
and
and I think
funny. She was funny
she was hilarious.
hmm
It's clear that he got some of his comedic
from her.
prowess from her.
Mhm. So
Absolutely.
watch Trevor Noah. He's on Netflix. He's everywhere. His book. I'm going to get his book. He had one of the specials I saw that he had. He was really funny.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Trevor, if you're listening to this, I would love to interview you. That would be a dream for me to be able to interview you. I'm not one that normally is like,
Mhm.
oh, I have to interview celebrities. That's not me because I
Mhm.
really love interviewing everyday people.
Right.
and everyday people that are doing great things. But
Right.
I would love to interview Trevor Noah.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So moving on from that, this is what marketers have said to Netflix ad. Seriously? Give us a break. So yes, literally. So, according to news reports and several media agencies, and then this is according to the Drum, they believe that Netflix has set a really steep entry price for their incoming ad funded tier. Now, we don't even know exactly how much it's going to cost. We've already talked ad nauseum about the fact that Netflix is going to have an ad supported tier. So, what they're doing, as we discussed before, is so same thing with Disney. Their ad supported tier is going to take the place of the lower end tier. And now, if you don't want ads, you probably will have to pay more. And they're anticipating that it will be between like $7.99 and $9.99 for the ad supported tier, but we don't know yet. So let me tell you the cost. So basically, when it comes to advertising, they measure things in cost per thousands, right? CPMs. So the you know what the M stands for, TJ, right? Is it Mille? The cost per Mille?
You're muted.
Am I muted?
No, TJ.
Oh,
Yeah, I think that's it. Cost per melee. I think that's it.
okay. I
Mhm.
think that's it. Or maybe I just made up a word. Anyway,
No,
I
that's
know it
it.
begins
That's
with
it.
M. It is okay. Okay. So that's obviously like Latin for 1,000, like
Mhm.
millennium. So the cost per Mille, when you look at most advertising, even when somebody says 35,000 $35 CPM, you're like, well, that's kind of steep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Netflix is charging 65.
Why?
Whoa.
Why?
And
And
that's what the hell they're asking. Why?
but
You ain't done nothing yet. We don't know you're going to deliver, and you're already charging 5. That's
and
what
over
they're
200,000 people have left the paid tiers. So what are who are they
they
showing
have
these ads to?
that. You know what? I wish they would. I wish I could call them and ask the heads. Excuse me, sirs and madams. What store did you go to buy this Audacity? Because I need that same brand of Audacity you have. This is some real live Audacity if I ever heard it. You've done nothing yet, and you're already charging $65 CPM. So yeah, that's and we're talking about millions at this point. It's not just 1,000 people. So here's the thing: this is even higher than demand for events like the Super Bowl. Okay,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and so at this early stage, advertisers and media buyers, they're not impressed. So they're asking the question, is this just bluster or do they actually intend to deliver? So we already know that they bought, I can't remember the name of the company that they acquired that did did
Video games?
no, the ad measurement. Or
Oh,
sorry, the it's like an ad delivery company, and I can't remember the name of it, but they acquired it, which was what let us know early in the game they're probably looking at doing ads, because why are you buying this company then? So they did. So we knew early in the game that they were doing this, but they never did anything with it. It's only after they did the math that they said, "Hey, yeah, we kind of got to start taking ad money because the
mm,
subscription alone is not working for us." So, anyway, here's the thing: people are worried about this ad model. Okay, it's been shrouded in silence. Nobody knows a whole lot about it. Even media people are not really at the table for these things. They usually hear about these things when they're leaked. That's how they find out, and it's usually reliable sources that leak this type of stuff. And then they play the game of, oh no, that's not what we're doing. Then it comes out that that is what they're doing. So initially, it was reported that Netflix was going to install a $20 million cap to stop one brand from saturating the platform, right? So now apparently that's been miscommunicated, or it's been flipped, or wasn't true at all, because now it's flipped to a 20 million minimum spend, which indicates that they're instead looking for a big commitment from a small number of brands. So rather than having a lot of advertising and a lot of brands, they're trying to have fewer brands, but the advertising spend would be more. So anyway, so a top, yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So a top marketer has said this, that this minimum spend would be restrictive to national advertisers, even in the U.S. So it says this: it has to be a global deal, or they say this: it has to be a global deal. For example, there's no way anyone in the UK would pay that on its own. And then another buyer questioned why they deviate from the more favorable CPMs at a national broadcaster for Netflix's unproven product. Exactly. So if I'm already spending $25 or 30, let's even go with $35 CPM at a network, I would the hell would I give you 65 for something that I don't even know you're going to deliver on, and you're going to hum and haw a few months later?
Mm-hmm.
That's a tall order, and I don't think I would want to be in Netflix's shoes, because you then have to work like gangbusters to ensure that it does what it says it's going to do. So here's the thing, though: it's not just by itself, and you can tell I'm excited. It's not just you charge them the advertising dollars and you're going to be able to make money. You're only going to make money off of projects that people want to watch, and you have to have projects. You just stop spending money on original programming. So what do you want us to watch that is going to justify an advertiser spending $65 per thousand people to get to us when you don't have anything we want to watch? Yeah, I'm a little scared, Netflix. I'm a little scared.
They don't, because I was getting ready to cut them loose anyway. But I mean, this is just ridiculous.
There really isn't anything. When you go to Netflix, you just kind of scrolling like, no, 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 no. There's not a lot to be over there. And in this, they should have saw this coming when everyone started pulling their content.
Mhm.
Exactly. And
Oh, and at that
Yeah,
time they were making their own. They were making their own content, but now that they're not making their own content, this is going to be a problem.
now
yeah,
they're
exactly.
they're partnering with Microsoft to start this whole gaming thing.
Yes,
They're going to charge, and that's supposed to be free. So I guess to move the gamers off of other platforms, but to
But
draw them in. But I don't.
most people are not going to move platforms for one because
For a new one.
okay, in that line, Google just got rid of their iCloud gaming thing. They're shutting it down
Mhm.
and refunding everybody their money.
So I don't know what this is about, but I would be concerned if I had stock in Netflix. I'm just saying that because I don't see this going well.
well, so let me tell you what the drum says about it. And so right now, they're set to launch this tier without a measurement partner, meaning there's no way to measure the uh, the 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 shows, basically how well they're doing right now. And so that could be a deal breaker for a marketer that needs to prove channel effectiveness, because I'm not going to put my stuff someplace where I'm not going to get eyes. So they don't have a measurement partner. That's a thing. But despite that, they said that they'll probably find some marketers, because even Quibi got $100 million in commitments before they launched. And clients have been keen on the Netflix audience and user experience for years now. So this is according to the drum, and this is what they think. And that could be true. I think it could very well be true, but the opposite could also be true, that they've been keen on it for years now, but they haven't jumped on it for years, meaning that other people, that they have now found other avenues to do and accomplish the same thing. And you haven't proven anything in this realm yet. You've lost subscribers. So the time to jump on this would have been earlier. Don't wait until there's a problem before you solve it. This is actually being reactive as opposed to proactive. And we've seen this as a problem before. So, in any case, here we go. So, oh, this is what it was. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Never mind. Anyway, so good luck to you, Netflix. We'll see what happens. And here's another thing. I don't know if you know, but you've probably been seeing these ads that on social media that Hulu now it has an ad manager in beta that is going to allow local businesses to advertise on Hulu, and it's self-serve, so you don't have to like call and get it. You can do set it up yourself like you would an ad on YouTube or an ad in Facebook. This
Mhm.
is huge,
That's
game changer.
major.
That is very major. So now we're looking at, and again, we already know Netflix that small local businesses are not their, it's not who they're looking at. But is it something, you know how many small local businesses probably would love to advertise on YouTube where you could get things? Again, the 65 is cost prohibitive, but if it was more affordable, because with Hulu, that starts at $500, which is nothing if you have an advertising budget. So
Yeah.
that's what's happening with that. I have a few more that I want to share with you all in terms of what we talked about on this is new stuff I just talked about now, but new stuff that we talked about on, well, not new, but stuff we talked about on Mediascope. So interesting. And Terry was there, TJ was there when I talked about the fact that James Earl Jones is retiring from voicing Darth Vader.
Oh,
Yes. So he's 91. Do we not think he deserves to rest? And voiceover, it's voice acting. It's quite a lot. You're not just you're not just voicing over something. You're also acting. So there's a whole process with it. And he's been doing it for what, donkey years? The first Star Wars came out in 1977. So since then, he's been doing this. So what's going to happen is he's going to let AI take over. So they're going to be able to listen to older Star Wars where he was younger to replicate the younger voice of Darth Vader, and just different things like that. So it's kind of like the end of an era, and I've made this point on Mediascope. If you remember when Kermit the Frog, they had to change Kermit the Frog, you could tell that it sounded very similar, but there was something that you could tell it wasn't quite him, because Jim Henson voiced Kermit the Frog, and of course he passed away. So you have to then find somebody else who sounds like him so that there's not that much of a disruption. And the voice was very close, but it wasn't exactly, and I could tell differences. So using AI to replicate voices is actually a good thing when it comes to this, because it allows actors to take a break, it allows actors to retire, but that you don't lose the integrity of the voice of the character, and allows you to do this into perpetuity, which I think is actually really cool. Now, as MC Curtis brought up, he asked me what I thought. I said this is great, but there's also the propensity for evil with AI, because there is always an evil actor that wants to do something wretched with new technology. But as it goes for this, I think that's good. So I can't wait to see what else he does, and it could just very well be okay. I've done this forever. It's time to move on. So even though he's 91, he looks like he still has a lot left. So
right. I like the idea of the AI. I would be thinking about if I lent my voice, do I own that AI? Uh, do I own the rights at that point? You understand what I mean?
yes,
Who owns the
yes,
rights? It's still an intellectual property.
it is still IP. This is interesting because I would. That's an interesting question, and I want to do more research into it because it's already, at the time that they made these movies, those agree AI was not, well, if it was, we didn't know about it. It wasn't readily available, and they were probably working on it since well before back then. But these things were not readily available. So things like the internet was not readily available. It existed, but it was not a consumer tool yet. AI was not there. The metaverse that we all love so much is not there. So what do you do now? You've got these franchises. You have to come up with new agreements because the way these things were worded is in some cases that television and movies were going to be and radio were going to be the only types of things that we ever did. And sometimes these agreements reflect that. So I'm wondering what the agreement looks like, and that will determine ownership and those types of things.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah, I think like on what is that called, the talent release form, that we can use your likeness, your da 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 da, all of the little. They try to capture every little thing in some of those talent release forms.
Right, they do. But back then, they may not have, right?
Right.
And they may not have, even to this point, there was a whole thing. Quentin Tarantino actually released some NFTs about from Pulp Fiction and some other movies. Oh well, was it it wasn't Warner. I can't remember what studio he's with. But they had a fit. But
Those bars.
because you could make some serious money, and of course they weren't going to let it go. They want that money, and they had a fit over it. But that NFTs did not exist at the time all these movie films were made, so there's nothing specifically that says you cannot XYZ. So that's where the argument and everything came in. Oops, sorry. That's where the argument and everything came in. So it still hasn't been solved. I'm watching it, but
Yeah, I'm looking at a couple of comments here. The New York Post, James Earl Jones gives rights to Darth Vader voice to Ukrainian AI company. And Mashable said James Earl Jones signs over rights to voice of Darth Vader to be replaced by AI. And in Deadline, it says James Earl Jones signs over rights to voice of Darth Vader, signaling retirement from legendary role. And in The Verge, James Earl Jones lets IA take over the voice of Darth Vader. But they're claiming, some of these companies are claiming that they own the voice, evidently. So there's going to be an interesting conversation, like you said, Doc, about who really
exactly who
owns the
really
rights.
owns the rights to the exactly.
Owns your voice.
So Disney is already going to be all up in there. Oh well, it's ours.
Yeah,
You already
Vanity
know.
Fair said he never signed over rights to Darth Vader's voice.
Who
Vanity Fair.
Yeah. See,
said that they,
and
he
so
never signed
He
over?
never signed over. But
That's
so this is all
evidently the
going to
Russians are
be
coming for his voice, evidently.
this is going to be, and to me that wouldn't make any sense for him to sign over the rights to a Ukrainian company that he knows well enough not to do those types of things. So that a Ukrainian company owns the rights to his voice. Yeah, I don't
Especially
know.
since Lucasfilm says they own the rights, which makes sense.
Yes,
And AKA Disney.
Disney.
Own, because Disney owns Lucasfilms and the franchise.
So we'll see what happens. Everybody is saying, I am Malcolm X. I am Malcolm. We'll see
I am your
Malcolm
father.
X is. Exactly. Exactly. So one more story. I've got to get this out. Poor Moviepass. Or is it really poor Moviepass? So, well, two more stories because they're both related to fraud. So I talked about this on Wednesday, and we already know that MoviePass is getting ready to relaunch, right? And so the original owner bought it back, so excited. Oh, it's going to be different, and we're doing this and this and this. Well, the ghost of the past, the ghost of Christmas past, or past, has come back to haunt because according to the Securities and Exchange Commission, they said, quote, MoviePass was founded on a lie. That's exactly what they said.
Wow.
Because at the time that they introduced the $9.95 a month all-you-can-eat subscription in 2017, the complaint is saying that these two executives, Theodore Farnsworth and Mitch Lowe, knew that the offer was just a marketing gimmick and that it was unsustainably low. But in public, this is what they said. They said that they did rigorous marketing testing and market testing, and they determined that they could make a profit off of it. However, the SEC said they had done no testing. So the SEC said, no, you don't lie. No, you didn't lie. You didn't do any testing. So before, Variety had asked them whether or not they would have to eventually raise their prices. And Farnsworth said the answer is no. He said, critics don't understand our business model, and neither do you, because that's why you closed. So this is interesting. So the parent company of Moviepass, the former parent company of Moviepass, went bankrupt after they burnt through hundreds of millions of dollars. They repeatedly, according to the SEC, they repeatedly lied to the public about the Moviepass business model. And then, as the losses started to mount, they came up with fraudulent methods to try and stop the bleeding. So, for example, they said to the Variety that the company wasn't running out of money, that they were sitting on hundreds of millions of dollars of dry powder, whatever that means. They said it's a unicorn company. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. But the prior week, their own CFO had said to them, something has to change. We really need to curtail spending and usage. I know I'm stating the obvious. We cannot survive at this level of burn. In fact, with Bollywood movies, they were saying, okay, we've got to cut this off because this is really killing us. Whose fault is this? Why wouldn't you? And I've been saying for years that this is unsustainable. Everybody, I'm like, how are you doing this? But what I made the comparison to, so I have this comparison of coconut shrimp. And I think I talked about this before. When I was teaching at a university, they had the most elaborate receptions ever. Something happened. We had a speaker come, have a reception with coconut shrimp and chocolate fountains. Oh, we're doing a meeting for a reception with coconut shrimp. I mean, every 5 minutes. To the fact I would like friends, I'm like, hey, we're having a reception today. You want to come? Because they knew there was going to be wonderful food there. But in my head, I said, you know what? All of this coconut shrimp is not sustainable, especially since we're using a company that we have a contract with, so you have to use them first. I said, this is going to run out soon. Sure enough, the next year we had our faculty retreat or faculty meeting beginning of the year. Usually they had it off-site at this fancy place, and we had all the coconut shrimp in breakfasts, bars, and stuff. This time, we were on campus. And they gave us whole fruit, not the platters we were used to. Whole fruit. You grab your banana or whatever, and your yogurt. I said, coconut shrimp days are over. This is Moviepass. This is exactly what happened to Moviepass. So I can relate, right? You spend all the flowing milk and honey and coconut shrimp money, and then you're starting to realize I'm bleeding. But I realized early, you all can't sustain this. This is not sustainable. We can't eat coconut shrimp. So same thing happened to Moviepass. So the SEC is none too happy with Moviepass, and yeah, I'll let you know what's
I love the
happening with that.
Moviepass.
So I'm actually going to. I bet you did for $10.
But that wasn't gonna last.
Everybody just
And I
turned their
used it
back.
too.
I bet you
I
did.
used-
I bet you did. When you consider that a cup of water, of tap water at the movie theater is $10, and then you're getting all of this for $10, of course you would love it. Of course you went. And somebody had mentioned, well, of course, it would work because they charge $40 for popcorn. I'm like, but I don't know that MoviePass had a deal to get any of that money. That's the theater that keeps that. So that's why they can really give you movies for free and they would still turn a profit because they charge so much on concessions. That's the major way they make their money. But MoviePass isn't in on any of that concession money. It was straight up the movies, which is secondary in the industry in terms of how they make money. So you're discounting a secondary way of making money. And okay, it was just a gimmick. Why wouldn't they just say, do a Quibi, for X amount of months, you get unlimited movies for $10. But then you have to sign up for the real price after, right? And then you determine what churn or whatever you get. But because people would probably still see whatever you would charge them as a good deal, they probably would have stayed on. You would have experienced some loss, but you don't have to deceive. And now you have the SEC on your back. Congratulations, Moviepass. You did well. But here's the thing. All right, so old owners, and now there's a new owner. But the problem is now we have Moviepass and fraud in our head.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be hard. I would not want to be the owner of Moviepass right now, but that's what I have for you today.
Oh, I'm so sorry that they're in trouble. I was hoping they would come
I am
back.
too. I am
Terry?
too. I mean, I think they'll be able to launch a successful comeback, but they have to separate themselves. They need a good PR company that can separate them from the previous owner's mismanagement. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And I think also they need to narrow the window for when you can use it. It just can't be a free-for-all.
Because all of the other movie theaters like Regal, they have where you can get a pass. It
They're
is
coming
not
up with
$9. It ain't $9.99. It's upwards, like they have 3 different tiers, and they're not $9.99. The first one doesn't start at $9.99. So, and you don't get to see everything. They got blocks. They got
exactly
parameters. You can't just do anything.
Exactly. And you know, the place where MoviePass lost is because, you know, everybody has come lately to all of this. They started it, but had they started with something reasonable, they would have had people still. But once people, the movie theaters figured out that that wasn't a sustainable model, and they said, you know what, we can start our own program, which they stupidly should have done before. But it ended up
Yes.
working out for them because they saw that they weren't going to be able to maintain $10 unlimited. So they're like, you know what? Very soon they'll be out of business. So let's just go ahead and start our own. And that's what they did. So now you're coming back into the media landscape. Initially, the problem was that all these movie theaters have their own programs for movie viewing. And now on top of it, you've got this SEC thing. So. Sorry,
Alrighty.
I don't want you to do well. I mean, I do want you to do well, but you know.
So it is. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Dr. Tachi. Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow, between Netflix and Moviepass, I'm just really kind of it's kind of sad. But Netflix was not on my things to do anyway, other than to call them up, tell them stop charging me money. Oh my goodness. So thank you so much.
Right. So this has been really good. I want to thank everybody, those who are joined us over in the metaverse and tuned in today. And we're still playing around over here. I'm still trying to figure out my screen. I had it working a couple of days ago, but I'm not quite sure why the screen is not showing today. But we had a few guests come, and right now Trader Yogi is in the room.
Hey, Trader.
So we're saying hello to him, Trader Yogi. And then we had a couple of other people pop through there. So if you are in the alt space VR, come join us and we can have conversation over there. Terry popped in for a moment.
I'll be back.
We are going to, I'm going to keep playing with this until I figure this out. Yeah. So.
Hello. Am I audible?
Hello. How are you? So with that, this is we're going to keep playing with this until we get it all dialed in. But we want you to become a part of BizChicks TV. And you can do that by going to bizchicks.net and become a part of our community there. You can also be sure to, subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
More things. And want to thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, what's your channel name? What's your YouTube channel name?
BizChicks.live. You can go straight there. BizChicks.live will take you straight to our YouTube channel. And if you also, so if you want to join BizChicks, you can join by texting Biz to 3.
In YouTube. Yeah, could you repeat it again?
Yes, bizchicks.live will take you there. bizchicks.live. Okay, let's see.
I'll put it on the screen.
Yes, so thank you all for tuning in. Terry, you want to?
I just want to thank everybody. I want to remind you that it's okay to make money in your business. So go to the front of your own line. We're here Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We want to thank Dr. Tachi coming in all the way from Florida. And we want to thank TJ coming in all the way from New York City. You can find them. You can find Dr. Tachi at Mediascope, and you can find TJ at Terry Johnson Online. Come on over. They are marketing strategists, media strategists. And if you're looking to make money in your business, you need to call BizChicks because we can find the money in your business and take the hassle out of your hustle. So we'll see you all Monday. Have a great weekend. And those of you who are on their way, we'll see you in the Altaverse. Bye-bye, everyone. I'm finding my closing. Hold on, guys.